If anyone supposes he knows anything, he has not yet known what he ought to know. 1 Corinthians 8:2. What is this speaking about? So often we find ourselves in these verbal traps, right? We get into a conversation, whether this be with our wife, our friends, our family. A topic comes up and we're really not that well read on the topic, and yet we want to die on that hill because we know something, right? When the reality is, why are we like that? Why are we like that as a people? Most likely the answer for that is because if you put us into a different time period, let's say you're walking through the woods in a tribal time, you don't have the time necessarily to discover all of the facts before you make a decision. You start to hear something rustling in the bushes, you hear what sounds like some kind of predator. You don't have time to be curious. You don't have time to investigate that. You need to move, and you need to move right now. And this same patterning, of course, is going to get passed on through time. There's a natural survival instinct in all of our animalistic style, and that will often hijack how we decide to go about what our worldviews and values are. But the reality is we should probably be a lot more curious on a host of things. Sometimes I get asked questions that are in politics or religion or some kind of controversy period, and people say, well, what do you think? And my answer quite often is, I'm not sure. I'm not well read enough to have a formulated opinion. I guess if I were to speculate, I would say maybe I think something along these lines, but I really don't know. And if they're naturally greatly opposed to that, it's time to get curious. Interesting. Well, what makes you feel like that's the right answer? How did you come to know that? And spend a little bit of time being curious. And the same thing we can easily apply to every disagreement that we have with our spouse, our friends, our family, whatever it may be. If I say, I really think that we should do this with this, and she says, I completely disagree. The first question should not be who is right or wrong. The first question in my mind should be, what is the macro values of both of the parties of this relationship? Do we both have the same intentions, the same outcomes, the same thought process? We for sure both want good in this situation and a good outcome. So the disagreement is often not why we should do something, but the particular what's. And this is where I have to get curious. And so we use a very formulaic process to solve this problem at the Uncommon Tribe. It's pretty simple. It's just what we call a personal discovery, professional standard, and professional next step. And if you're curious how to apply some of that in your life and how to avoid these regular confrontational missteps, hit me up. Holla.
Tina Nolan had a man with a good place for sifting.